Today, we can't say the reading of In Quest of God is over. Even the very casual reading becomes over only when we complete the appendix. Heart-pourings are very, 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 very important. The more we concentrate upon how the heart-pouring can come. Papa had just mentioned this, not to simply read this outpouring. Think about it. Heart-pourings are nothing but an inner dialogue, soliloquy we say, or normally we say soliloquy, monologue. No other person is there. But it is not simply talking to oneself. There is a dialogue here. Dialogue between whom? So many inferences can be made. Why?
They are joining so many.
Acharya can join.
He's connected from there.
We will do it from here because our is not yet ready. That's why it's here.
So there is a dialogue,
Keep admitting on it.
Just imagine, how can I record all these things? There is a recorder, there is a person who talks. Is it not? And the person who handles the recording is different. There is a witness there. Just imagine. After Papa comes back to the Panchapandava cave, two years of intense tapasya inside the building, inside the same atmosphere. 1 year absolutely relying on the indwelling and outward-waiting spirit. Absolutely, lock, stock and barrel. And it was not an easy one, we have seen that. Full of hardships. There are about, how many chapters? 37. 37 chapters means, if you leave 2 or 3, 33 chapters deal with the various tests. Severest test. And he passed every test. Passed every test means reliance on God, subserving attitude of the individual self is total. Such a mind comes and stays, and then the dialogue starts. Then only the mind becomes receptive to hear the voice of Ram. Actually, there is no separate voice. If we think more clearly, when we say Ram, it is the higher mind and the lower mind. The higher mind, which stands for gods, it apparently becomes mute because of our sound, our thoughts. We crowd our mind with our thoughts, with the result that the higher mind's reply or guidance or talk is not heard by us. Gandhiji used to say that when our mind becomes quiet and calm, then only this can be heard. That means the lower mind. So the lower mind, it cannot become quiet just because it has been asked to become quiet. It has to be trained. So here we find an intense training for 3 years. Theory, practice, everything combined together. Had enabled this state where the witness consciousness in him was able to record perfectly. So even the very act of thinking about outpourings, that itself is a big sadhana for us. Again, why did he choose? We are all inferring, Papa has not mentioned. His trust in God should get rooted, rooted. It has really taken into the ground, the ground, percolating into the ground, but not probably fully stabilized on the taproot. Normally in a tree there are two types of roots. One is the taproot, the other one is the feeder roots. Taproot is the one which keeps the tree strong, based. Feeder root is the one which goes and collects the food and converts it into plant food and supplies to the plant. Both are necessary. So here we feel that the taproot, it should not oscillate, When the storms of life, when the various further tests are coming, it should become firm. So the Papa makes use of this facility to make the taproot more and more firm to the ground. This is what we felt when we went to the first outpourings. Because it is not that he is not known. O Ram, thou art father, mother, brother, friend, preceptor, knowledge, fame, wealth and all. Sole refuge thou art. Make thy slave merge always in thee alone. This is the first outpouring. That means here he is rooting out. There is every likelihood that it might, when you see your father, mother, relations, friend, knowledge, fame, wealth. We may see it as something separate. But here the assertion is going on, mental assertion. So that it gets rooted. First one. Another interpretation is that he is going to the source of all these and become thoroughly convinced that it is from him alone. The father has come, mother has come, brother has come, friend has come, preceptor has come, knowledge has come, fame has come, wealth has come, and all. So he says, thou art. So we can, that is why we don't know whether this is right or wrong. This is how he makes us to think now. Why did he record these outpourings? To make us know probably that even after such long periods of tapasya, such long periods of committed pursuit, still don't take it as granted that everything is fine. There could be still vestige of cravings, infatuations and whatever, it was there prior to our doing. What do you call this? Minutest form, more subtler than minutest. You are able to get over all those things, but still there in a miniature form, which he doesn't know probably. But at a given moment it might come out. Later on we find that. Even the sense of individuality, he at times, the upper mind says, you are nothing. So the sense of individuality itself is looked down upon at times. Or make it subservient. So the message is that let us not take it as granted that when we observe certain vows, when we attend a lot of satsang, when we load our mind with so many theories, so many episodes, so many, incidents of saints' life, even if we have undergone a Parivrata tour, even if we are staying in an ashram like this, even when we had the opportunity to serve saints, never take it as granted that we have become full and perfect. Absolute alertness is necessary. This morning, we were reading Papa. We have to make it hollow. The fruit, the here fruit means a person's sense of individuality, or which is called the body-mind intellect complex. It should become hollow. Then only the fruit player will use it. That means my mind, my body, my equipment. It should become pure. Grossest things can be easily cleared. Suppose what do you say for this? Blow forcefully. Grossest things will go. Subtlest thing will be sticking to it. We may not know. And that will produce this apasara. So again we look at it, where is it? What is it blocking like that? So here we find the grossest things have been already gone. The moment he took a leap, the moment he underwent so many trials given by Ram, grossest level happened. But still, he is warning us through this. Still there will be some craving, some concept, some.
Can we say they are not reached samadhi by the time they are not reached? That means the individual souls are not permanently established in that.
He says, thy slave, make thy slave merge in thee.
That way,
then nobody is there, no. When we say, make me thine and thine only, just we are not. If you have already become thine, we will not say that. But that stage, according to our normal thinking level, he has reached that stage, Otherwise, who can pass through such tests? But Papa, for the sake of aspirants, posterity, he is warning us, never take it as granted. All things are okay, but something else is needed. That is why probably he has attached this appendix to the book In Quest of God. Not to the At the Feet of God or In the Vision of God. Right from the beginning, the quest is still on. Thou art, O Ram, thou art mother, father, brother, friend, preceptor, knowledge, fame, wealth, and all. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhu cha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. This is the meaning of it. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, father, mother. Tvameva bandhu cha sakha tvameva, relation, friend. Tvameva vidya, knowledge. Dravinam tvameva, wealth, fame. But also added one, preceptor. So this sloga, now we understand the meaning of the sloga. Why are we repeating the sloga? Normally when we say the mother and father our earthly mother and father will come because it is they who gifted us this body, gifted us this platform. Only an embodied soul can discuss all these things, elevate all those things, go through all those things, rectify all those things, become merged, become one with Him. So we are equally grateful to them. But through this yoga, not only to this, just like through the caricature photo of Papa, we are trying to identify the real Papa. Through our father and mother, we are really seeing the real father and mother. Through our friend, we are seeing the real friend. Through our guru, we are seeing the real guru. Through the wealth, we are seeing him. But we have not brought anything. At the time of our coming from mother's womb, we did not bring anything. Nobody need teach us to know that. If at all when we have grown up and we have been able to amass wealth or name, fame, power, position, though we take credit to it, ultimately we know that as an aspirant we know it is all because of the facilitation of all outer factors. When we joined our professional career way back in 1961, the first lesson our boss told us that tomorrow you may become an expert in everything. Kindly remember, company gave you an opportunity to bring out those faculties. Unless a field is given, how will you know that you have got that faculty with you? Because the field demands, and then you go within, you bring out the faculty lying dormant in you. Similarly, whatever we can take credit of, unless the field is given by God, not only here the field is given, or the wherewithal, or what you call the raw material, everything is provided by Him. Because when I came, I did not bring anything as my end. This is also mine, take it now. No. Absolutely no. He made me to appropriate so many things and then gain. And the Vyavaharik sense made me to know that I am the owner, I am the earner, I am the possessor. That's all. And at the time of leaving, I will leave everything here and then go. The what? Mother, father, mother, friend, protector, knowledge, faith, wealth, soul refuge the what? Make thy life immerse always in thee alone. Taproot, We are experiencing very heavy rain and storm like wind. So in ashram itself, 2 trees got uprooted. So we are subject to various storms in life. Especially for a spiritual aspirant, it is a toughest job. Every moment. What is the word of purpose? Ram's tests are at all times coming unawares. One should always be prepared for them and face all vicissitudes calmly and in complete resignation to His will. Then there is no sorrow, no disappointment, no fear of any kind. So His tests are at all times coming unawares. So my root should become very, 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 very firm. So we feel these words are in a way trying to make my trust in Him more and more deep, more and more firm. There could be so many interpretations. This is how we feel it. The next line. O Ram, what thy slave Ramdas should do or should not do must be determined by thee alone. He is bewildered, he is helpless. Make him resign all to thee. Let him live, move, have his being in thee. Again, Papa is not satisfied. Let him eat, drink, sleep, move, sit, stand, talk, think, look, hear, smell, touch. Do everything in thy name and for thy sake only. O Ram, O Divine Mother, Ramdas is thine totally, completely. Heart, soul, body, mind, everything, everything. How can we pass on these paragraphs? Just like that we cannot. What should I do? What should I not do to be determined by you? Can we take it that these outpourings are trying to, uproot the me and mine in me? Under some pretext it comes, So decision taking. Responding to every external stimuli, Again, he wants to be very specific. That is why he did, Let him eat, drink, sleep, move, sit, stand, talk, think, look, hear, smell, touch. Is there any other activity other than this? Still he wants to be specific, Nothing should be excluded. That everything is propelled, articulated, activated by that power, by that power, by that power. I am not there, Sitting before the laptop, reading this, watching the mind's interpretation, sharing the mind's interpretation. Everything is because of that power. This is another aspect we should not think that this is a dialogue between A and B. Then we will not enjoy. We are not thinking that Papa is sitting in the cave and Papa is writing down whatever that floats in his mind. No. Once the suggestion even came that wherever we find Ramdas, we put our name. Wherever the name Ram comes, we put our Ishtadevata Guru. So that it becomes a dialogue between us. Then you are talking. Suppose our Ishtadevata is Papa himself, in that form. Or Siddhi Baba, or anybody, Right from beginning we have got that feeling through that form. So we close our eyes, suppose it is Papa, we say, O Ram means O Papa. What thy slave Muktananda can do or should not do. Suppose you insert your own name. Then it becomes purely a dialogue between my upper mind and the lower mind and the witnessing it and recording it. This is very important. Otherwise, we may still think that it is a dialogue between Papa and Ram. What has it done? Just like any other travelogue or any other write-up, we read. Reader is different from the one which is read. Here it is not like that. So the outpourings, one should know that it is an outpouring of oneself. The only difference is, in Papa's case, the mind has become mature. Because we have not attained that maturity, these thoughts also will not come to us. So we are borrowing, technically we can say, because we have not matured enough like Papa, because it is not backed up with tapasya, it is not backed up with commitment, it is not backed up with a trust in God, the needed maturity has not come. So the needed maturity is necessary for effective dialogue, effective inner communion. Since we don't have that, we are borrowing. Just like Puja Mataji used to say, when somebody is in distress, you can borrow Ramnam from ashram and then pay back. Similarly, we are borrowing these thoughts from Papa and applying it in ourselves. We are not initiated. We cannot initiate thoughts like this, because we are not reaching that level of maturity to dispassionately see the sense of individuality and the power behind it. So this is another method. Kindly think about it. Replace wherever Ram is there with your chosen deity or Guru. Wherever Ramdas comes, you try to put your name and then see for yourself what is the reaction in you. He is bewildered. Muktananda is bewildered. Muktananda is helpless. Make Muktananda resign all to thee. Let Muktananda live, move and have his being in thee. Let Muktananda eat, drink, sleep, move, sit, stand, talk, think, look, hear, smell, touch, do everything in thy name and for thy sake only. O Papa, the Divine Mother, Muktananda is thine totally, completely. In our case, when we say we have not reached that stage. But by telling this, Gunaropana, just like every day we are repeating in our prayer so many things which we have not reached.
Hammering trouble.
Hammering trouble. I should reach up. I should reach up to that. I should reach up to that. I come in all humility to thy holy feet and surrender myself entirely to thee, which has not taken place even after 30 years, 40 years, 50 years of talking. Yajyastari he manajayamade. No, I have not. Wherever I look, I don't see you. I do see that person as a person, situation as a situation, object as an object. But still I say, when I say, Prabhu Vishwanatha, Atenar Midatu, Jagatpalaga, Nashakatta, I don't mean anything, When something happens, when corona happens, when something, I immediately get upset. When the tree is fallen, I become upset. Because, I don't accept that he is the Nashakatta. So that means every word we are not applying. When we try to know that, he is behind, he is behind, he is behind, he is behind. Every day Mataji wanted us to go through these prayers so that we will start moving towards him closer and closer and closer. Especially in the Aarti time prayer. It's wonderful. It is inspiring. I tell you. In order that we don't confuse ourselves with the personal and impersonal, she will bring all the personal forms of God out. What is the sloga? After the Dhanya Dhanya Ho. No, that's the last, you know.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Before that, Mata Devida Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu, Sataka Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya, Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam. Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayana. Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayana. It comes there. In some other form it comes.
Oh yeah, the end. That is right in the end.
Yes, wherever it is already. Again we get stuck with it, okay? What is that word? Every day we are telling. Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam. Janaki. Sita Ram Guru, no?
All of them are there. Everyone is there. Everyone is there.
Kayena Vaja Manasindriyaiva Dhyatmana Va Prade Sabhava Karomi Yajyadu Sakala Parasmai Srimad Narayanayi Nopayami. Then next.
Achyutam Kesavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Sridaram Madhavam Gopika Vallabam
Janaki Nayakam Sri Ramachandram Bhaje. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Just imagine. So that none of us will get confused anywhere at any point. The all-pervading Lord can be approached through any name. Mataji wanted this Arati prayer. It gives us the synopsis, you know, it gives us the cream of entire Papa's philosophy on what is to be ultimately scaled. That also we repeat. Right from our universal prayer, right from our peace prayer. We chant it, we read it in the English, then Prabhu Vishnada starts, there is a set tune, then afterwards, you know, without say, Ramnam will start, then somebody who is lighting the Arati, he will go the Arati, until the Arati is there, Ramnam will go on, then there are certain Arati, that every Arati also points out to this only, but hardly we apply our mind. Then we say Dhanya Dhanya Ho, we do the Pradakshina of my Sadguru. Then we repeat all these things, and finally we also acknowledge what is to be scaled, Jajya Sarihe. Anandakanta Sachidananda Purna Brahma Purushottama Papa. Every time we also mention who is this Papa. But it all slipped into ritual. So here, similarly, this reading should not become like that. No? In order to ensure that the reading also does not slip into this, one suggestion is we put our name so that we are affected. You know, we are asking ourselves, we are viewing ourselves. Where are we? What are we? What are we asking? Oh, this is, I want to become one with him. First one, thy slave, sole refuge thou art. Make thy slave merge always in thee alone. Kevalam. O Ram, thy slave cannot know what to think of thy infinite love. In the last, he says, do everything in thy name and for thy sake only, O Ram. O Divine Mother, Ramdas is thine totally, completely. Heart, soul, body, mind, everything. I think every day, suppose you, in the morning, we'll also try from tomorrow morning when we come here. One para we read. It can be the basis for meditation, inward journey. So that it doesn't come just and go. We do some manana. A few words we may be able to remember, not all. So that the relationship is now maintained, tangible, palpable gain is that we become aware of his what you call nearness. Nearness and presence. First nearness and then his presence is slowly being recognized. Because nobody else is here, Nobody else is here. It is purely the sense of individuality and the spirit behind it, the power behind it. The spirit which has been arrogating itself as an independent entity recognizes its subservience to that power. It may be limited to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour. Again we are back to square one. Next day we will again try, Constant hammering. Is it with that intention he added this? We don't. We now look at it like that. Don't simply stop with the itinerant life from the relate. Also go through the various, the clamoring or what you call the chat of Ramdas's mind. Think about it. You don't want to just clear. So the third para is, O Ram, thy slave cannot know what to think of thy infinite love. Shall he weep over it? Shall he smile over it? Shall he cry over it? Shall he laugh over it? Thy love is at times so grand, majestic, vast, gushing like the mighty ocean and its roaring waves. At times it is soft, tender, gentle, silent, like the mild flow of a tiny stream and her musical ripples. The ocean and a small stream, So it is unthinkable, inexplicable, inconceivable. When we go back to the explanation of great void, we found, an enclosure. A mud pot. Mud pot is created, but we know very well that the space in the mud pot is not created by us. So the mud pot is now recognizing, around me, in me, you are there. Above and below and all around, you are there. You remain. I may put in good thoughts, bad thoughts, good water, bad water. You are not affected. Something like that. So thy slave cannot know. So whatever, the pot space cannot think about the outer space, So long as it identifies with the pot space, it cannot know the outer space. So long as I am within the cage of my own, I cannot see the vast. So he says, thy slave cannot know what to think of thy infinite love. Shall he weep over it? Shall he smile over it? Shall he cry over it? Shall he laugh over it? Because thy love is at times so grand. At times, it's so grand, so majestic, so vast, so gushing like the mighty ocean and its roaring waves. At times it is so soft, tender, gentle, silent, like the mild flow of a tiny stream and a music of it. I cannot gauge. Through somebody you make me to feel that I am insulted, no? I am not recognized. Through somebody, a soothing advice, a soothing feeling is coming from them. I look at a flower. I taste something. Somebody tells me lovingly. See the difference? Huh? So I must be able to see your hand in it. No? Individual to universe. I think each para we have to sit and ruminate. O Ram, keep thy slave always absorbed in thee. He is at once thy slave and thy child. He is willing to serve thee in every way according to the wisdom thou givest him. He is thy innocent child, looking always for thy guidance and security. Never allow him to leave thy holy feet. O Ram, never put him in a situation in which he would forget. Practical.
Pleading to Bhagavan.
Pleading. When you want me to serve you in different forms, I am your slave. When I am the recipient of, like an innocent child, when I ask, what should I do? I don't know now. Just imagine what all types of thoughts is generating in our mind. Thy slave always absorbed in thee, keep it. He is at once thy slave and thy child. He is willing to serve thee in every way according to the wisdom thou givest him. So what is to be told is also given by you. What is to be done is also given by you. What is to be thought also is given by you. He is thy innocent child looking always for thy guidance and security. Never allow him to leave thy holy feet. O Ram, never put him in a situation in which he would forget thee. We thought the itinerant life is interesting. Now it is more interesting. No? I think he is making us closer. That is why we find it more interesting.
Swamiji Guru Baba used to say, Aidal Unnai Padalam Chali. When you go to Bhagavan and cry,
Here we find, by this process he is making us to feel the nearness. Catching hold of their hand and don't make me to forget you. There's a relationship, you know? The joy is there.
Put our name and do something.
O Ram, O Mother, save thy humble slave, thy ignorant child. Richiso, is a prayer, no? Is a song. O love infinite, infuse into the arid heart of this child at least a small measure of thy love. Arid heart, try it. O love infinite, infuse into the arid heart of this child at least a small measure of thy love. That means, is it a portrayal of the struggle of the individuality, no? They are unable to decipher. O Ram, drink always the sweet nectar of Ram's love. Who is telling now? We can understand, O Ram. No, O Ramdas, drink always the sweet nectar of Ram's love. So can we say that there are three, not entities, what can we say? There are three in the scene now. The upper mind, the lower mind, and the witness. Upper mind is the purified mind. Pakka ego, kacha ego. Sense of individuality, so long it is there should be a sense of individuality. So which is called Pakka ego and kacha ego. And the one witnesses. So the witness consciousness is there, the higher mind is there, the lower mind is there. Can we do like that? Each one has to think, find out. Because suddenly he will say, O Ramdas. Suddenly he says, O Ram. O Ram, make Ramdas mad of thee. Mad, stark mad. He wants nothing besides this. Let him talk like a fool only of thee. O Ram, let the world declare him a madman. Yes, mad of thee, Ram. Is it an indication Papa giving to us that you must pave the way for the emergence of these three in you? You become conscious of the three in you. Let all your sadhana be directed. Let the outcome of your sadhana come out in the form of three in you. There is a witness consciousness, witnessing the upper mind, the lower mind. Directing the upper mind, witnessing the direction given by the upper mind to the lower mind. And witness is the recorder. Otherwise, how can this be a recorder? So there is a witness, there is a higher mind, there is a lower mind. Ramdas cares not for the opinion of this man or that. He is not to be bound, O Ram. See that he is not bound. Let him be bound only by thy shackles. Those are the shackles of thy love. But thy love is free. So where are the shackles? It is enchanting freedom in fetters. O Ram, the madness of thy love. How sweet, how intoxicating, how charming. So if at all I get bound, immediately transport me, that binding is also you, Immediately I am free from that binding. An individual or an object or anything, suppose I develop, immediately you step in and say, I am that. So immediately the transformation has taken place. That individual is no longer there, object is no longer there, situation is no longer there, only you are there. He says, he is not to be bound. See that he is not bound. Let him be bound only by thy shackles. Those are the shackles of thy love. But thy love is free. So where are the shackles? It is an enchanting freedom in fetters. O Ram, the madness of thy love. How sweet, how intoxicating, how charming. One more paragraph and then we will go. O Ram, purify the mind of thy slave. This word, it punctures our enthusiasm. Because according to us, there is nothing called impure in his heart. And he says, purify the mind. Then where are we? This is too much, Papa. having made us to go through what all we have gone through, how are we to even dream or casually think that there is some impurity in you, and you are telling, purify the mind of thy slave. Let him not see evil anywhere. Again specific. Let him not see faults in others, but only good. O Ram, have mercy on thy slave. Fill his mind with thy grace. Thou art the sole refuge of thy slave. O protector, living parent of the whole universe. Jagat Pita, Jagat Mata.
He Vishwavidata. He Vishwavidata.
He Vishwavidata. O Ram, have mercy on thy slave. What is the song? He Jagudata, Vishwavidata, He Sukh Shanti Niketane. Prem ke bandhu. Dukha daridra vinashane. And he will say, you are my sakha, you are my avalambana, support. It's a beautiful song. That's why every time whatever we are now reading, it is there, portrayed in there. Deenike bandhu, prem ke sindhu, deenike bandhu. Dukha daridra vinashane. Dukha daridra vinashane. Jagadashraya, Jagapati, Jagavandana. Sundar, you are hearing,
He can put on his mic and sing it.
Because I think it fits in well with the what do you call it? Outpouring. Outpouring.
He's muted,
No, he's not there.
So anyway, we will read. Fill his mind with thy grace. Thou art the sole refuge of thy slave. O protector, loving parent of the whole universe, lift thy slave up from the consciousness of a narrow life in a perishable body. Make him realize thy infinite love. O Ramdas, rise above the narrow limitation of your own making. Ram asks you in all love and kindness, speed up my child, come up, here is my hand, grasp it, rise out of the bondage in which you are. O love, O life universal, O mother, O Ram, how glorious it is to bask in the sunshine of thy loving influence. I think this we will again come back tomorrow. Wow. There are so many things, Loving parent of the whole universe, lift thy slave up from the consciousness of a narrow life in a perishable body. Make him realize that infinite love. O Ramdas, rise above the narrow limitation of your own making, the cage of your own. What do you call it? Conceptual presence. I am not bound, but I feel I am bound. Ram asks you in all love and kindness, speed up my child, come up. Here is my hand, grasp it, rise out of the bondage in which you are. O love, O life universal, O mother, O Ram, how glorious it is always to bask in the sunshine of thy loving influence. We have hardly covered 2 pages, 4 or 5 paragraphs. Still we don't feel we have covered that paragraph. So Papa wants. No, kindly think about this, Why it is made as an appendage, to the inquest of God. Equal importance for the outer journey. But at the same time, this is the consolidation, So these three factors. The witness consciousness, the higher and the lower mind. In the Upanishad, you remember the two birds, the upper one and the lower one, and the witness. So every time the upper one looks at the lower one and says, the upper one looks at the witness and says, every now and then the witness look at them and say, if this picture is very clear in our mind, we will be able to draw the real benefits of going through these outpourings. We have to close our eyes and develop this in our life. The higher mind that connects up with the higher ideals. The lower mind with all its, minus points. Cravings, infatuation, relationship, possessorship, ownership. That is there. Then the witness consciousness. So here this is nothing but this play, the play of these three inside us. We should not forget that to reach this stage, we have to undergo, some sort of tapasya. We are borrowing from Papa, Just like Mataji allowed many devotees to borrow Ramnam and then ask them to pay back, Similarly, we are borrowing the thoughts from Papa and we have to give back the Papa, and then after stabilizing ourselves, we have to give back, So let us try to develop our thoughts, the frame of thought, the pattern of thought in those lines. Then only this becomes effective. Otherwise, mere reading will not. It has not helped us. We are not, now every sentence, we can't go just like that. Suddenly the witness consciousness says, come on, speed up, come up, here is my hand, grasp it, rise out of the bondage in which you are. പാപം ഞാനൊരു തുണയറ്റവും അമ്മയല്ലാതെ എനിക്ക് ആരുമില്ല. പരീക്ഷണം നിർത്തി കരം നീട്ടി എന്നെ കരകയറ്റു. There's a beautiful song by Amma. Amma is singing. And she will be dear, she will make us to take us to the Sunnah. മനസാ വാചാ കർമ്മണ നിരന്തരം നിന്നെ സ്മരിക്കുന്നു, എന്നിട്ടും എന്നോട് കനിവ് കാട്ടാൻ അമാന്തമെന്തേ പറഞ്ഞു. By thought, word and deed, I remember you, but still why are you delaying in taking me unto yourself? In that song, the last portion is exactly this. You know that I am only alone. അമ്മയല്ലാതെ എനിക്ക് ആരുമില്ല. I have nobody else except you. Please stop all your tests. And then extend your hand of support. Lift me up. Same word, we are hearing. Speed up, my child, come up. Here is my hand, grasp it. Rise out of the bondage in which you are. O love, O life universal, O mother, O Ram, how glorious it is always to bask in the sunshine of thy long, loving influence. This will take another 1 month. This is so. 22 pages. We thought we can read. Anyhow, it is mysterious. Yes, now we understand. It is mysterious.
Now in the same way, when Bhakta is calling the Lord, Shiva, man, Pitta, and start like that. You know what? Pitta, Pitta means the man. He is addressing him as man. He is reverse. Here, he himself is man. We take me man. Here, he is calling him as man.
Swamiji, devotees are replying, we are very happy to hear from Swamiji. 1 month more it is going to take. Their outpourings are there, Swamiji. So much they have written.
Outpourings there?
Their outpourings, I will show you. So beautiful. Devotees out.
Anyway, thank you, Papa. Nothing else we can say. You have not only that we thought, you have already finished. And we can do some summing up.
We are only starting. Not really, only starting. Yesterday you told me there's no end,
Only a
This
comma.
never end.
Comma, no full stop.
It can never end. Unless you need a pope to say it can never end, true.
So, Papa kindly lead us, just like you are making us feel that, you are leading us. Please kindly, let not our attention be diverted to something else. Let us not dilate, let us not dilute. Let us not lose concentration of this. Please, lift us up. You have already done it. You keep doing it. That is why we cannot go out of this text, You made us to know that it contains everything. You don't have to read anything else. You don't have to do anything else except meditating and chanting His name. Meditating and chanting His name. And since our mind intellect is alive, every now and then you are asserting, you are showing, you are affirming, you are assuring that you are on the right path. I am leading you. Don't worry. Come. Papa. So prostration as they holding it mentally for all that you have been doing, and take a forward, please. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai